Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Great Balls of Fire preview and predictions.
Guys, it's here, it's now, it's Great Balls of Fire preview and predictions. And I gotta say, horrendous pay-per-view name aside, on paper, Raw has actually managed to put together a pretty compelling card. In all honesty, you know it says something when one of your weakest matches on this card, in my opinion, is Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. And I gotta say, I always love doing the hype scale at the beginning of these. I'm anywhere between like a 7 all the way to like an 8, 8.5. And the only reason I'm not even higher than that is because of precedent. You know, unlike SmackDown, Raw really hasn't earned my good faith with their last few shows, and sometimes that good faith is factored into my ratings because I'm like, oh, you know, they know what they're doing. I know to expect a good show. Booking has never been Raw's strong suit, and with a card this good on paper, it's going to be very telling if they can follow through and finish the job. But yeah, I'll say that I'm about at an 8 to really settle on a number. I'm at an 8 for anticipation. A great looking card. I'm so excited for a lot of the matches. And I can't wait to get some of your takes, dude, because what are you thinking about all this?
Yeah, you know, it's really funny that Bullet Club versus the Shield in chat just said she was at a 6.5 because that's exactly the number that I had in my mind for my hype level for this show. So I'm not quite as hype on this show as you are, but the card on paper definitely does look pretty strong. Although there definitely are some matches on this show that I'm not even like, they're just not a blip on my radar. And I would say that probably applies to like maybe 3 or 4 of the 8 shows. So about half the card I care about, and the other half is just a whatever to me.
Yeah, and you know what? That's perfectly understandable, man. I really can't wait to get through these matches, talk about some of them, where the future holds for the outcomes of some of these matches. I think we're going to have a lot to dig into today. All the better for us meeting up earlier than usual. So let's get into this card, man. I'm excited.
Well, the ironic thing is that the 4 matches that I don't care about are all on the main show, and one of the 4 matches that I do care about is on the pre-show, and that is Neville versus Akira Tozawa, which I'm actually quite looking forward to. And even though it's an exciting match on paper, I'm still not entirely convinced that WWE is prepared to take the Cruiserweight title off Neville yet. So for predictions, I am going to pick Neville.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of feel bad for Akira here because, look, I'm not hating on the Titus brand storyline. If you want my honest opinion, I think in some parts it's some of the best stuff that Titus has ever done, which is really saying something. I just wish that Akira would have gotten a more straight up build because he is like that serious competitor that has found a way to connect with the audience. And I feel like with the addition of Titus, I mean, no fault of his own. I just feel like it's on WWE's end for trying too hard when I feel like you could have done a much simpler build to this that would have made it much more compelling, because I do see a legitimate threat to Neville's reign in Tozawa. I have ever since he stepped in, you know, the Cruiserweight division and became a part of it. That said, I think this is going to be a fantastic bout. I wasn't really too crazy about Neville's last series, you know, with Austin Aries. So I think this is going to be a major step up. That said, I just don't think the build is there for Tozawa right now, unfortunately. And hey, I'm still going with my side prediction that Titus is going to see Tozawa lose, and he's going to offer membership to the Titus brand to Neville because he wants to start having some winners in his stable. So Neville to retain, and then Titus kicks Tozawa to the curb, and he goes with Neville.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to sign on to the whole Titus moving from Tozawa to Neville thing, but I can definitely say that I do think Neville is going to keep the title here, even if it's like a retention by DQ to delay this feud so that we get another big match between these guys at SummerSlam, maybe even on the main show, although I kind of doubt that given that it is SummerSlam. But yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Neville faced what was the last Raw pay-per-view?
The last Raw pay-per-view, wasn't that Extreme Rules? Because that's where Joe became #1 contender. So
right, and was that another Neville versus Aries match on that show?
Yes, that was their submission match. Yes, they had a 3-match series.
Christ.
Yeah,
That
dude.
feud went on for way too long.
Why do you think I'm excited about this match? Because Tozawa is amazing.
Yeah,
and
because it's literally anyone but Aries in my case. Like, I like Tozawa for sure, but the fact that Neville is on this show defending his title against anyone other than Austin Aries at this point makes me excited.
Absolutely, dude. I completely agree with you.
So yeah, both of us agree Neville to retain, and then we get right into the main card of this show. And the first 4 matches on the main card are matches I genuinely don't really care about. The first one being Enzo versus Big Cass. I care about this from a promo standpoint, not from a match standpoint. I just don't give a shit about this match. I'm honestly, if we weren't live reacting to it, I probably wouldn't even be watching the pay-per-view while this match was happening. But obviously, since we're live reacting to it, I'm going to have to. Cass is going to win, obviously. There's no doubt in my mind that they're not going to have Enzo scrappy find his way to beating Cass. It's just going to be, you know, there'll be like a hope moment or two for Enzo, but at the end of the day, Cass is going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've appreciated the build to this match. The only hiccup I felt they had was the whole, oh, they're going to get back together. No, Enzo, I'm just suckering you again. But even that wasn't bad by any means. It just really wasn't my taste. And the best thing about this feud by far was Enzo's promo on the Go Home show. My God, if this is the Enzo we're going to get, I remember when you used to tell me we'd talk about the futures of Enzo and Cass, and you would say that people were saying, you know, that don't be surprised if Enzo became a world champion before Big Cass, and promos like what he cut on Monday are exactly the reason why. You know, to me, Enzo Amore fans, and I'm saying that sincerely, you know, Enzo Amore fans, because I feel like I am becoming one again, don't worry about him losing this match, because that man is literally going to talk his way to the fucking top. I have no doubt in my mind about that. So, yes, I do agree with you that Big Cass is going to win this match, but I think Enzo's going to win the bigger debate in the end of who the bigger star is going to be, because him on a mic, especially when he's actually sympathetic and actually vulnerable, it is just a license to print money. So, Big Cass for the win, but Enzo's winning the future for sure.
That I can agree with to a degree, but we've also got to remember, no matter how good Enzo is as a talker, Big Cass is still big. And that's, in Vince's eyes, that's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will not deny that for a second. You are absolutely right. But we do agree about Cass winning, so unless there's anything else you want to say, I guess we can move on.
Yeah, second match on the main card, another match I genuinely don't care about because I feel like the finish and the winner is kind of a foregone conclusion. Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, and there again is no doubt in my mind that Seth is winning this.
I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, because it's funny, because I know we have like little slight disagreements about like our perceptions of certain things or whatever, but we have been in full agreement so far about outcomes, and I really see no reason why that'll change here, because I think we're both picking Seth. But I'm also going to go one step further and say this is the weakest match on this card. And that's saying something, because I adore Seth Rollins. It's just I do not give a shit about Bray Wyatt.
No, I think that the weakest match on the card is probably Enzo versus Cass.
And see, even that, though, I care more about, because I'm excited about Cass's future, because I do think they'll give him a future, and Enzo got me invested in his mic work. And like they had the whole breakup thing. So even that, for me personally, I can see where you're coming from for sure. But speaking for myself, like, I mean,
here's the thing: from a build-up standpoint, you're right in that Enzo and Cass was built up better. But from an actual in-ring standpoint, Enzo and Cass is going to be a nothing match, whereas Rollins and Wyatt are going to put on a good match.
Yeah, I mean, and see that, because I noticed you've been invoking that dichotomy a lot between build and in-ring, and using that dichotomy, I completely agree with you. I think the build has been atrocious, because, again, I don't buy in Bray Wyatt anymore. But in-ring...
I'll go ahead and say it. To me, Rollins-Wyatt is easily the worst built match on this card. But again, on the other hand, I think Enzo and Big Cass is going to be the worst match on the card.
Yeah. And, to me, I just look at this, and it's such a shame, because I don't even know if I did go on this rant on a TwitWell, which I'm glad I did, and it wasn't just a private conversation, but how I said, if Bray was actually believable, they could have done amazing things with this story because I liked where they're going with it. You know, Bray questioning, oh, Seth, after everything you've done, you know, your hands will never be clean. Are you really a good person? And like, just something about that fascinates me, especially given the babyface that we're working with.
But dude, that's Bray Wyatt in every feud. In every single feud, Bray Wyatt's always like, oh, you're a liar, or oh, you did something wrong, or oh, you're evil, or whatever.
And yeah.
Like, I wish I could get behind it because it does fit to a degree with Rollins' past, but I would care more if Bray Wyatt hadn't said that to literally everyone he's ever feuded with so far.
Right. And see, even me, like, I could forgive that he said it to everybody so far if only he backed it up on top of that.
Right.
You know, because at least then you could be like, oh, well, Rollins is on his shit list. It's almost like the Saw movies, right? I don't care how many victims you got, but fucking follow through. You know, and at least Jigsaw always did, you know. But Bray Wyatt, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this stuff to you, and really, that's it. Are we good? And then I'm just gonna drop you 3 count, and then you move on to the next one. Bray, to me,
the Bray Wyatt formula at this point is, you know, you're a liar. You're evil. You're not everything you say you are. And then he loses, and then he says, aha, by beating me, you've made me stronger than I was before.
Exactly. It's just so fucking sad because this feud could have been so much more than what it's been. But even if the writing and everything else was there, the one key ingredient is Bray's credibility, and that's going to take a while to get back, if ever. And I do want to emphasize if ever, because like things haven't changed so far, so I expect things to change now. Seth Rollins for the win. We'll see what happens. Should be a good match.
Yeah, so then let's talk about our third main card match of the night. Another match I don't care about because it's another match that we've seen a million times already, even though the Hardy Boys have only been back since WrestleMania. Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardy Boys in a 30-minute Iron Man match, and yet another match that I'm confident that Sheamus and Cesaro are retaining.
I do agree with you about the retaining part. I'm tentative about this because, like, I feel like none of the matches, and no disrespect to the 4 people involved. I mean, I like, well, except for Sheamus, I guess, but I like most guys on a certain level. But do we really want to see this for a guaranteed 30 minutes? Like, because I heard that stip, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that. But we'll see what they can do with it. I hope they get creative with some of the pinfalls. You know, I'm sure they'll do the story of, oh, the heels have a slight lead, but babyfaces are closing the gap, but they're still fighting against the clock and all that jazz. I do think Cesaro is going to retain, though, and I don't know who their next feud is going to be because so many teams are broken up. I don't even know who the other, like, big babyface tag team is. But, yeah, Cesaro to retain. I do agree with you.
How much do you want to bet they do a copy job of the Lucha Underground Mac Mundo all night long finish where, you know, the Hardys are going to have, like, it's going to be like Matt hits a twist of fate and then gets taken out by Cesaro, and then Jeff hits a big swanton on Sheamus, but, you know, he, like, goes for the cover, but he only gets the cover with 2 seconds left and the ref can't count fast enough.
Right. You know what, dude? You can pencil me in as agreeing with that. We've seen it happen before, WWE imitating Lucha Underground. Why not here in this type of format? Because I find it funny that in accordance with the tapings, it wasn't that long ago that we got all night long, and we're getting a 30-minute Iron Man match here. So, you know, I definitely agree with where you're coming from. So we both agree Cesaro's retaining. I got nothing else to say about this match. I guess we can move on.
And the fourth and final match that we've seen 100,000 times already and that I don't care about, even though I wish I could. The Miz versus Dean Ambrose Intercontinental Championship. And again, another match where I'm predicting the champion to retain. Miz wins, and we move on.
See, and I think this match and potentially one other match you and I will disagree because I actually think Dean Ambrose is regaining the championship here.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah. My whole thing is like Ambrose just had the title as of the last pay-per-view, and Miz beat him for it. So I don't know what the odds are of them kind of playing the hot potato game with the IC title right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm going out on a limb, and again, this won't be the only limb I go out on in this video, I just feel like Miz has really been giving it to Dean the past few weeks. Plus, he did beat him at Extreme Rules, and I feel like he's got a comeuppance coming. Now, maybe Dean won't be the one to deliver it to him, but again, this also stems from my lack of confidence in Raw booking. I am going to say they're going to play a game of hot potato. I just think Dean's going to take it back, and whatever they do after that, who knows? Because, I mean,
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Does Elias Sampson have anything to do at all with your decision here?
A little bit, yes. In fact, okay. Quite a bit. So
hasn't Sampson moved on to someone else? Isn't he feuding with someone else right now, like Balor?
Yeah, he is feuding with Balor right now, but I do think Sampson will come back to the IC title picture after the fact. So
okay, yeah. Now let me ask you this: if you were to assume that the WWE has paired Elias off with Balor because they don't want him in the Intercontinental title picture and they don't want people associating him with the Intercontinental Championship, would that change your decision here at all?
Probably yes, if I'm being truthful, but like not by the biggest margin. Because again, I really have no confidence in Raw booking, and I would not be surprised if they put the title back on Ambrose. But yeah, I think Elias plays enough of a factor that if you put that aside, I'd probably go with Miz.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. Hopefully by the time we do live reactions.
Hey, if you don't, I certainly will. So yeah, that's just where I'm coming from with this. So
all right, so up next, our fifth match on this card, and the second match that I genuinely do care about and am interested in, because we've actually already seen it in a previous lifetime. It feels like back when NXT went to the Arnold Classic. Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that both of these women are still getting so much better as time goes on, and especially Alexa Bliss has gotten so much better since their match at the Arnold Classic. I feel like this match is going to be really good.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm excited for this match. I think after that horrendous Bayley feud, this is getting Alexa's championship reign right back on track. I will say, though, this match to me screams SummerSlam rematch. The only question is, do you want Sasha as champion or still as a challenger? I'm leaning towards challenger, and much like I did for Backlash, I believe it was, or no, excuse me, it was Money in the Bank. I am going to call for a DQ finish here. I think Alexa Bliss is going to get herself disqualified, and that's how I think Sasha's going to remain in the title picture, because I was waffling between that and Alexa cheating to win, but I think WWE actually really wants to protect Banks, so I think they want to make it outright like Banks was the better competitor that night, and Alexa just couldn't hang, so I think she's going to get herself disqualified. So Sasha to win via DQ, but Alexa keeps the championship.
See, and I think Alexa's going to win, but I don't know about the DQ stipulation or anything like that. I just, at the end of the day, whether Alexa wins or Sasha by DQ or whatever, at the end of the day, I do think they're going to keep the title on Alexa, because this story is much more interesting with Sasha chasing than the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, that we do agree on. No matter the means we get there, like, Sasha should be the challenger right now, because Bliss is still getting great heel heat.
Well, and specifically, I want to also kind of extrapolate on what you just said. Sasha should be the challenger going forward, going into SummerSlam. I think this SummerSlam, the money match is Sasha challenging, maybe even with a stipulation could make it even more interesting. If you put a stipulation on it, like no DQ, or, you know, we've already seen Alexa in a Singapore cane match, or like a cage match, or something along those lines, to just make it a little bit more interesting. And you know WWE loves their making history, so maybe they do some kind of a first-time ever women's match, maybe the first ever women's whatever, I don't know. I mean, we've already had an Iron Woman match. Has there ever been a women's cage match before? I know there was a women's Hell in a Cell, but has there ever been
was a women's cage match? Remember Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch on SmackDown Live?
That's right. I forgot about that. And you know what? I'm sure there's probably a women's cage match back in the freaking Ruthless Aggression era too, with Trish and Lita. But yeah, like I'm sure they'll find a way to have some kind of a women's first match at SummerSlam and make this big deal out of it. Or, I mean, hell, people have been talking in chat. Maybe they'll just change it up and have Alexa beat Sasha clean and move on to Alexa versus Nia, since they kind of are hinting at that on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's funny because I thought we would have already gotten past seeing Nia as a champion already, but WWE's actually made the sensible move to not put the belt on her yet. But I have to figure it's only a matter of time. So yeah, I mean, that very well could happen. I just think we're gonna see some fluky shit go down in this match. So yeah, again, Sasha to win, but only by DQ.
Is it a reasonable prediction to say this match is going to be overbooked to hell?
Potentially, yeah. I could definitely see it going that way.
It just has one of those, like, it just because, like, I know that Sasha has lost clean before, but it was to Charlotte. Like, I think they're going to want to protect her more against Bliss, and because of that, we're going to have a really screwy finish here that ends up with Bliss retaining, but with Sasha looking stronger.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, because let's keep in mind, too, at the go-home show, right, that Sasha won, what was originally a tag match and boiled down to a 2-on-1 match because Nia took Bayley out. Nia's been sticking close to Alexa. We've seen multiple segments with them. I wouldn't be surprised if Nia had a presence in this match. And then Bayley, for Retribution being taken out of that match, I could see her having a presence as well. And then the whole thing just completely devolves into chaos. So, yeah.
Nia will probably show up and try and cost Sasha, and then Bayley will show up and try and beat up Nia, and maybe they'll even do something interesting where Bayley ends up accidentally costing Sasha, and we end up in with the Bayley-Sasha feud that we've been calling for since WrestleMania, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's true. That is another possibility. Yeah, I think especially this discussion here has really opened my eyes to just how much possibility there is with this match. I'd say more so than just about any other match on this card.
And you know what, though? I think that's why I'm interested in it, not just because, like, I do think the match is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be like a classic, like, Sasha Charlotte, Sasha Becky, Sasha versus really good worker that put on an amazing match together, Sasha Bayley, that kind of match.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be that level quality, because those are like 8+ out of 10. But I do think this is going to be like a solid 7.5 out of 10 between Sasha and Alexa here.
Oh, I definitely sense the chemistry between these two. I'm excited for what they can do. Again, I think Alexa's in her stride right now as a heel. And I think she can be that heel that would make how Sasha works babyface pretty effective. But again, like, I do worry about overbooking, especially after really conversing with you, picking your brain, picking chat's collective brain. Overbooked to hell might be the fate of this match, but we'll see. But I think we both agree, again, Alexa emerges with the championship, and we do this dance again at SummerSlam.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so then we've got our 6th main card match and the 3rd match on this show that I have a degree of interest in that seems interesting to me. And this one might even be the most interesting to me, because this is the one that I've seen the most disparity on as far as people saying who's going to win. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. And the reason that this is so weird is because going into the more recent episodes of Raw, I think everyone was very confident that Braun was going to win this and face Lesnar at SummerSlam. But there was recently a report that said, oh, no, changes are happening to the plans. Roman Brock is no longer set for WrestleMania. It's now set for SummerSlam. So what the hell is going to happen in this match?
Yeah, to me, this match is crucial because, to me, however you predict it, it kind of ties directly into the main event one way or the other. And I look at this, and man, it's a tough call for me, because obviously the fan in me wants Braun to win. I adore that man every single goddamn week. He maximizes his TV time and he kills it. But you've been saying this for a while, so I can't take credit for this. I mean, to me, it's all you, brother, on this point. To me, the end game is Roman Cena at Mania. It's gotta be, because all the pieces are lining up between John Cena now, of all times, right, being a free agent and all this other shit happening. I've got to believe, as you've again been saying for a while now, that is the end game. So I think they are going to want to, like, get Roman Lesnar out of the way. So with a heavy heart, and I adore you, Braun. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be so fucking elated because I'm a huge Braun Strowman fan. But I'm actually going to say that Roman Reigns is going to win this, especially because, too, if you look at the booking side of things, it has been very one-sided since Braun Strowman's returned. And I think Roman's got to get something back. So, yeah, Roman Reigns to win this.
Yeah, I actually am going to go with the same thing based on recent reports that plans have changed and that WWE wants to do Roman Lesnar at SummerSlam instead of WrestleMania. And yeah, I mean, Cena on SmackDown. And another really interesting thing that I noticed was during Talking Smack, Daniel Bryan was getting ready to bring up this whole, John Cena's been advertised as a free agent thing. And as soon as he brought it up, they immediately sent in AJ Styles to distract him and cut him off. And that was not unintentional. That was not like what a coincidence that AJ Styles would just happen to show up when I was almost going to start talking about something that might be perceived as controversial by some people. No, that was completely intentional. They're planting the seeds for something. They might even be planting the seeds for Cena jumping over to Raw on a permanent basis. And I think that Cena Roman at WrestleMania 33 is 100% the route that they want to go.
Oh, man. But you know what, though? You know what? Anymore, I think Braun is so talented. I'm not going to think that he's made a Teflon because WWE made that mistake.
Well, no, dude, but the beautiful thing is, if Roman versus Lesnar isn't happening at Mania, that means to me that Strowman Lesnar is.
Holy shit. And here's the thing about Mania season, and again, we'll talk. The conversation will be more pertinent and have more gravity when we're in WrestleMania season. But you know it, brother. Every time we get to WrestleMania season, what's the one thing talked about? Lesnar's contract status. And what I'm hearing is and again, we do hear it every year to be fair, but he may not be interested in signing this time around. So if he isn't, what I'm getting at is Strowman might have just the push of beating Lesnar at a Mania, which I think is fucking huge. Yeah, I think the pay-per-view immediately after that, if you're not challenging for the Universal title, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, it's
and especially right too, because if you think about it, Roman beats Strowman here, and he's undefeated against Strowman, 2-0 against Braun Strowman at pay-per-views.
Right.
And then if Strowman beats Lesnar for the Universal title, you've got a built-in match there between Strowman and Roman, which they would have already had anyway, because I'm sure they're going to have Roman go over Cena at WrestleMania at 34, not 33. I mistook that earlier. But so then you've got Strowman versus Roman, and the interesting route to go there is Strowman winning the first match and then being like, Roman still has beaten you twice, and the way you won maybe wasn't, perfectly clean. So we've got to do this again. And then that's when you make the decision. Do we want to put the title on Roman and deal with the fan backlash, or do we want to make Strowman look strong and build him up for someone else to beat?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really going to be for them to navigate. And
what?
Mark Schoenemann, they are correct. Yeah, I had just realized it myself. Strowman did beat Roman at Payback.
I'll tell you what, though, that's also an effective storytelling device, because then you have Strowman beat Roman at next year's post-WrestleMania Raw pay-per-view, whatever that happens to be, and then they have a tied record on pay-per-view and they need a rubber match, so it's even better.
Yeah, I agree. I still think everything you said works. It just needs that minor tweakage. And yeah, dude.
I don't remember Payback at all. Was that recent?
That was, I think, only a little while ago. You know what? I think you probably thought Roman won because Roman won the altercation after the fact because he sent Braun scurrying, and maybe that's what you got confused because Braun was like, I'm not finished with you! And he ran into the ambulance door, and then Reigns, shut it into his arm multiple times, and he sent Braun running. That was before Braun's hiatus to get, his shoulder all healed and everything. But yeah, Braun won the match prior to all that going down. So, but yeah,
Roman did still defeat Strowman at Fastlane, right?
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, so I'm not completely crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's actually a really interesting story then. You have Roman beats Strowman here. He faces Lesnar at SummerSlam and fails. But then Strowman versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. Strowman wins. Roman beats Cena at Mania 34. And you've got Roman Strowman at I'm gonna assume it's gonna be Payback because that was the post WrestleMania Raw show this year. And then you have Strowman win that, but then they've got a 2 versus 2 record at pay-per-view, and you can do a repeat match at Extreme Rules, which is the following pay-per-view, with some kind of crazy stipulation, maybe even like a 3 stages of hell match or something crazy like that. And that's where you really have to make the decision. Do we put the title on Roman and deal with the fan blowback? Or do you stick with Strowman, build up this monster that you've had so much momentum with, and build him up for somebody else eventually to take down in the long run?
See, now, here's where I'm going to invoke a dichotomy here, because what I would do, obviously, is build the monster. What do I think Raw would do?
I mean, it's also because like neither one of us really likes Roman, and we think that Roman isn't the best choice to be the one to take down the monster. But it's WWE, and they're going to do whatever the hell they want.
Oh yeah, WWE. I'll answer the question for you. I think if they have that quandary put in front of them, which I love your idea for the feud and everything, I think that is money waiting to happen. But I do think, that they would go Roman. They'd say Roman's our guy. Here's the championship. Just have a ball with it. Go nuts. So yeah, really glad we got to have that discussion. But it all begins with Roman beating Strowman in this ambulance match, I think. So Roman for the win.
Yeah, so then we can get to our final match, and a match that I am looking forward to from an in-ring perspective, but again, feels very much like a foregone conclusion. There's no doubt in my mind Lesnar is retaining the Universal Championship against Samoa Joe.
Oh, dude, this match makes my heart so heavy, because, I want to believe that Joe has a chance. I think he has killed it, and that is my only consolation in this feud, is that even if Lesnar is going to win this match, Joe has proven he can be that main event guy on Raw, because I think every segment he's had, he's brought the intensity. He's just made it. The moment he choked out Paul Heyman, I'm like, yeah, Joe knows what he's doing. And every week after that, he's been money. Again, I want to believe that he can beat Lesnar, but I just don't see it. And it's really, and see, I'll tell you what almost changed my mind. It wasn't even the dirt sheets like, oh, we're changing these plans and Joe might go over and Joe might have the feud with Roman, which, I do think that's a great feud because Reigns has not beaten Joe. So that is a guy that's 2-0 against Roman. What actually made me think, are they actually going to go with Joe, was actually during the go-home show when they had the sit-down interview, and it seemed like Lesnar was more or less laughing in Joe's face. Like he wasn't really taking him seriously at all. Mainly, maybe it was just because, Joe has done the attacks from behind and he choked out Heyman and this and that, but he didn't seem to be selling the gravity and the threat that Joe poses with his career and who he is and what he's about. And I'm like, well, that's interesting to me. Like Lesnar hasn't F5 Joe, hasn't really gotten physical with Joe, unless you want to count the pull apart, which even then it wasn't like a massacre. You know what I mean? It wasn't like dominance being imposed on Joe. And Lesnar, even with all that, is still kind of sitting back and laughing. So part of me was like, well, are they just going to let him laugh at Joe? Like, is that just going to go unanswered? And so I thought maybe, but you know what, though? The feeling isn't strong enough. This isn't going to be one of those videos and goes crazy, goes left when everybody thinks it's going to go right. I am going to stay in the lane, and I want Joe to win. I can't stress that enough. I think it's his time. I think he deserves that goddamn championship. But I think Lesnar's going to retain. So it is what it is. Yeah, heavy fucking heart. But Lesnar's
No, I'm not even laughing at you. I'm laughing at chat because, the Lex man is freaking out. Like, oh, they can't have Joe lose this Sunday. That's the dumb decision. That's dumb. That's stupid. That's retarded. And then Kyle Roberson's just like, Joe has to win, right? And I'm just like, you guys are adorable.
I sympathize with where they're coming from, but I just can't do it. I can't do it.
No, let's be real. Thank you, Ben Jr. Yeah, Lesnar is winning, and it's not going to be a no contest. It's not going to be a split decision. It's not going to be a draw. It's not going to be a count out or a DQ. Lesnar is winning clean. Joe is losing clean, and Joe is going to either have to do something else for SummerSlam, or he's going to pull a Sami Zayn and not even be on the SummerSlam card.
Oh, God, my heart.
I know, it sucks. I know it sucks, but it's the WWE, and more specifically, it's Raw.
Because, guy, I was having a conversation with with Ashton before we went live. And I even mentioned like how really reflecting on his career, even with some of the shitty stuff he did in TNA, I'm looking at you, Nation of Violence. Like I was a Joe fan. I realized that I've been a big fan of this guy for a while now. And I didn't realize how much I loved him until I really like mulled it over and I'm like, like, yeah, he really does it for me. So it hurts that not only is he going to lose this match, which I am standing by, you're not going to get a last minute swerve from me, but that you're right. He might even be left off the SummerSlam card because Raw is just that stupid. I hate it because Joe has done nothing wrong here. Like he has made the feud for me. He real and I guarantee if you ask Chad, they'd probably say the same thing. It's just not his time. But again, I think the solace I take is that he proved he could be a main event player. Now he's just got to do the job like the consummate professional he is, and he'll be back in the game eventually, and maybe then he'll get some shine. But yeah, Lesnar's winning. God damn it.
Oh, man. You can't bring up the Nation of Violence without saying, shaves his head, paints his face, he thinks he's threatening me?
He's still a fat bastard smothered in a Twinkie.
Oh, man. But yeah, Joe's gonna do the job like a professional. And I just hope that he has something to do at SummerSlam. I mean, maybe it'll be Finn, since obviously we're not getting Balor versus Samson on this show unless they add it last minute.
I thought we were, and I was excited to talk about that match because that was where I was also going to go on a limb. I was actually going to pick Elias Samson to win that match.
Oh my God, John! What are you doing?
No, I was. I honestly think if that's a last-minute addition, Elias Samson might win that match.
Balor, just think, this time last year, you were thinking Finn Balor was going to return in January to beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I did think that. And then you know what happened? He shared a ring with Paul Heyman where Paul Heyman talks Balor up, and then he's the one to eat the finish at Extreme Rules getting choked out by Joe. Like, I feel like they're kind of cooling down. I'm not saying they've given up. I want to be very careful with my wording here. I don't want to start any unnecessary shit because I'm really not in the mood today. But, like, I think they're cooling down a little bit on Balor. They're going to turn the heat back up. But I think right now it's a cool-down phase because of the whole Strowman, Reigns, Lesnar, all that stuff.
Dude, imagine if Brock Lesnar could talk like Scott Steiner.
Jesus Christ.
Smoke Joe! You go one-on-one with another man, you normally got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm not normal. So you got a 33 1/3 at best of beating me.
Paul, say something stupid. Yeah, oh my God. And I know people in chat, like you could see the deflation in chat. I mean, Deluxe been straight up asking, why are we here then?
I do feel bad for just kind of
for squatting and taking that shit.
No, I was gonna say we're poking a hole in everyone's happy balloons, but like listen, guys, I know Joe is a really good performer. We all know that. But the WWE is not a meritocracy. We've known that for a long time now, too. The best performers don't always win the most matches, and normally it's actually the exact opposite. The best performers lose the most matches because they're the ones that can make their opponents look good and keep themselves looking decent in a loss. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where I apologize for making people feel bad. But at the end of the day, you know it's true. You know Lesnar's going to win. You know, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be like a SummerSlam 2014 versus Cena kind of squash or anything like that. But I do think Lesnar's going to win relatively decisively. He's going to retain, and he's going to go on to face Roman at SummerSlam and hopefully retain there too.
And you know what, like, and I don't mean to be a dick, because I could tell, like, we're giving so many complexes for free in chat right now.
I know.
But, like, I think one reason, I don't want to speak for anybody, this is just an assumption I'm making, however educated is, anybody's opinion. But I think one reason there is this widespread belief isn't just like the dirt sheets and that. I think they saw Mahal win on SmackDown, and they were probably thinking Raw wanted something similar. Because I even had a similar thought at one point. But the thing was, Jinder only won because he appeals to a demographic that WWE wants desperately right now.
Yep.
And while Joe is an amazing guy.
Let me know when Tian Bing gets called up to the main roster, because maybe he'll be a WWE champion so they can get that Chinese audience.
Yeah, and you know what? You say that, and I actually take that seriously. Like, if he was...
I wasn't joking. Did you think I was joking? I'm not joking. Come on, I'm serious. I mean, here's the thing. How much worse could Tian Bing seriously be than Jinder Mahal? Like, Jinder Mahal is like a D-grade level worker, and they put the title on him because he looks good. Let Tian Bing pump up on steroids for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and give him the big roided out, muscled up, veiny look. And next thing you know, it's going to be just perfectly fine for them to put the title on him, because everyone will explain it away with, oh, well, Vince likes big guys.
Yeah. And like, again, I'm not saying anybody in chat did, but if anybody out there listening to this had the hope that Joe would win because, oh, well, SmackDown recently had an upset with Jinder, like, it's two completely different circumstances between who the champion was, between why the challenger was selected, and just everything right down to the last decimal point. So, yeah. God, I hate myself, though. I hate this because, like, Joe would be so good as champion, but it's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's great balls of fire. I will say, though, even despite that depressing ending,
can I just point out, though, that it's hilarious to me that Draven G is saying in chat, nah, man, Ho-Ho Loon WWE champion, when Ho-Ho Loon is like 5'10". I said Tian Bing for a reason, guys. He's 6'3". That's all that matters.
And to answer your question, Bullock over the field, yes, I've been done with Lesnar as champion for a while, but that doesn't mean WWE's done. Again, distinctive difference.
Yeah, exactly. John and I have been done with Lesnar as champion since the last time he held the title.
Hey, power of the pencil, people. I don't have it. So, there you go. But despite that depressing ending to an otherwise very upbeat and energized premium predictions, I'd still say my hype level is at an 8.5 for this show. Again, I think on paper, they've got a really nice card here. I just hope that the booking doesn't put it in a paper shredder. That remains to be seen. But, Ashton, I'm going to leave it to you to have any concluding remarks that you have and to take us all home.
All right, guys. Well, that was our Great Balls of Fire preview and predictions. We hope that you enjoyed what we had to say. Let us know what you think in the comments section once this video gets fully uploaded and processed. Be sure to remember to leave a like if you enjoyed what we had to say, even if you didn't necessarily agree with everything we said. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell icon that pops up next to the subscribe button once you do subscribe, so that you can get notifications anytime we go live or upload a video. It's a nice little bonus there that you can get nice little notifications sent right to your phone or your desktop, depending on how you set it up. If you're interested in supporting TwitWow, you have two major ways to do it. First of all, you can support us on Patreon. If you donate $3 a month, you can get in on the official TwitWow Patreon Discord. And it is just a really well done, nice, intimate chat app where you'll be able to talk directly to me, talk directly to John, talk directly to other TwitWow fans about whatever might be on your mind at any given time. And not only that, but the $3 a month is cumulative. So over the course of time, you can kind of save up, and maybe you want to donate $5 a month to save up a little bit quicker. Maybe you want to donate $10 a month and save up even faster than that. But either way, we have other tiers where you can request videos depending on how much money you've donated grand total over time. So if you've donated $30 over, whether it's 10 months of $3 or 6 months of $5 or 3 months of $10, if you donate $30, you can request a 2-hour live reaction and review, or just a 3-hour live reaction, and you basically get control over the content on this channel. You get to tell us or ask us, and really it is telling us because we're not going to say no, what we can live react to and or review. So that gives the control to the fans. We want you guys to be able to tell us what you want us to talk about. We've already got a couple of requests this month that we're going to be doing one of next week and the other one probably the week following. One of them is from Money in the Bank 2011 and the other one is for a women's only wrestling show. It's going to be very interesting stuff. And the other way to support TwitWow is to check out our Teespring store and consider buying a t-shirt, a sticker, or a mug representing either TwitWow or the Scum Squad if you're more interested in repping those colors. That all being said, though, you could also follow us both on Twitter, like the official TwitWow Facebook page. If you are on Reddit, check out the the TwitWow subreddit. And of course, remember to share this video with your wrestling fans. Let them in on all of this TwitWow goodness. And we will see you guys on Sunday for our Great Balls of Fire live reactions. Stay tuned, everyone.